Hey friends, happy Thursday. Thanks for joining us here for Unscripted on 13 Plus. Right now, we are taking a live look out to Atlanta because tonight is the highly anticipated presidential debate between President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump. That will be at 6 o'clock Arizona time, of course. This one coming earlier than any other debate has ever happened. There's also going to be some changes just to make sure that it goes smoothly. So our Washington reporter Molly Martinez explains a few of the things that you need to look out for during tonight's event.
According to a new poll by the Associated Press, 6 out of 10 Americans say they plan on watching the presidential debate. Here's what to keep an eye out for. Number 1, new rules. Taking a lesson from 2020, to avoid interruption and talking over each other, this debate will have mics that can be muted. Also, to cut down on the noise, there won't be an audience, just the moderators and the candidates. The idea is to harbor a civil discourse to talk about the issues, which brings us to number 2, the topics. We're expecting to hear about the economy, the border, and abortion. This week marks 2 years since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. It's a divisive issue and an opportunity for both sides to plant their flag. We can also expect barbs about Trump's legal woes and Hunter Biden's current scandals. And finally, what happens next? Both candidates will likely try and bank on the momentum of the debate, with Donald Trump expected to name a vice president in the upcoming days. A lot is riding on the performances Thursday, which will set the tone for the rest of the campaign. In Washington, I'm Molly Martinez.
Now remember that you can watch that presidential debate right here tonight on 13 News at 6 o'clock. We'll also be streaming it on air online, KOLD.com, and on our 13 Plus streaming app. So if you're not at home, if you don't have access to a TV, lots of different ways that you can watch it. And then be sure that you join us tomorrow morning on 13 News Live this morning, where we'll kind of recap and also be talking with one of our Washington correspondents about, what some of the major takeaways were from that debate tonight. So again, right here on 13 News and on 13 Plus at 6 o'clock tonight. Now, something else that we've been keeping a close eye on is, of course, the Supreme Court. They have 3 days where they're issuing opinions this week, yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And following the latest rounds of rulings from them, we do know one of the cases that we were closely following was, of course, an abortion ruling, and emergency abortions will be allowed in Idaho for now. The court did dismiss an appeal that was brought by Idaho officials, meaning that a lower court ruling that allows doctors in the state to perform abortions in emergency situations does remain in effect. It comes after an opinion was briefly posted on the court's website accidentally and then taken down yesterday. Doctors in Idaho had put abortions on hold, fearing that prosecution would happen because the state's restrictive law only allows abortions when the woman's life is in danger or in cases of rape or incest. But again, the issue kind of comes down to determining where that line is when somebody's life is in danger. Idaho said that its law does allow abortions to save the life of a pregnant woman, and federal law doesn't require wider exceptions. Now, the court could still take up this case, take the issue up in a later case, but as of right now, they're just going to let that lower court ruling stand after that opinion was released, and some of those preliminary documents were released yesterday. And another major ruling from this morning that came down, 5-4 ruling that blocked the Purdue Pharma opioid settlement, but this unfortunately threatens billions of dollars for victims. In a 5-4 decision, the court ruled that the bankruptcy court did not have the authority to release the Sackler family members from legal claims made by opioid victims. So as part of the deal, the Sacklers had agreed to pay $6 billion. That could then be used to settle opioid-related claims, but only in return for a complete release from any liability in the future. So the ruling means that settlement talks will have to begin again with the possibility of no deal being reached. So a huge impact for some of the victims in this case. And of course, again, a 5-4 decision. So it was not one that was unanimous, and Justice Kavanaugh actually dissenting, and he said, this is going to have an impact on tons of people who were directly impacted by the opioid crisis that many believe was created by Purdue Pharma. So again, monitoring some of those rulings coming down tomorrow morning, still waiting on ones relating to January 6th as well as presidential immunity. And as we talk about Purdue Pharma, just a heads up today, so if you're one of those people like me who's had trouble getting some of your prescriptions, always, having to wait for those, Some bad news for those of you who picked them up from Walgreens, because Walgreens said they will close a substantial number of roughly 8,600 locations across the country. It comes as the drugstore chain is struggling with its business. They didn't announce a specific number of closures or what stores will be closing, but they did say that it will be significant. They say that the closures will focus on locations that aren't profitable, that are too close to each other, or stores that are struggling with shoplifting losses. Major drugstore chains across the country have lost money in recent years because of declining profits from filling prescriptions due to lower reimbursement rates for prescription drugs, as well as new competition from mail order pharmacies. So we do have this up on our website. Of course, we'll keep a close eye on that and let you know if we find out that any stores are impacted here at home. And taking a live look outside today, nice seeing that cloud cover, of course, but that sun's starting to break through just a little bit. We do have a 13 first alert forecaster, Allie Potter, here with us. Oh my God, I love a pink and purple moment.
Oh, I love
Don't you
it.
love
It's
that
so
for
great.
us? So great. Weather-wise, though, so we saw some kind of dangerous conditions last night in places like Cochise County.
Dallas,
Yeah, is that a concern heading into today as well?
It is too, because that's exactly where we're predicting some of those storms to pass through today. Tucson on the drier side once again, but Cochise County, Santa Cruz County, especially with the washes. I mean, there was a flash flood warning in effect for a little bit yesterday, and considerable, obviously, flooding. So, you know, the ground is still wet.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't have time to soak things up yet. So that's going to be the biggest concern of Santa Cruz and Cochise County for today. The greatest chance for those storms, in fact. Right now, though, we're sitting in the low 90s in Tucson, but it does feel muggy out there. Ugh. 34% humidity, which is actually high for us. Your out the door forecast though 106, so it is going to be a lot warmer than what we saw yesterday. We do have a 20% chance for rain for the Tucson area. Triple digits by noon. By 4 o'clock, we'll start to see those warmer temperatures around 105, 106. Not much relief down to the double digits though by 8 o'clock this evening. Current temps right now though 86 if you're in Sierra Vista, 85 for Nogales, 96 in Marana, 89 for Safford, 83 if you are in Douglas. More gusty today. So we will see those gusty winds around 30 miles per hour if you're in Safford, 20 for Wilcox, 22 for Bisbee, 19 for Douglas, 20 for Sierra Vista, 23 in Nogales, 15 for Green Valley, 22 if you're in Tucson. Picking things up a little bit though around your dinner hour and then calming down as you do go to bed this evening. Your radar dry and clear. It's almost like a rinse and repeat from just 24 hours ago. This is exactly what we were seeing. And those storms really started to pop up in Cochise County and Santa Cruz County around 2:30 in the afternoon. So that's exactly what we're predicting today. So literally a rinse and repeat. This is around 2 o'clock this afternoon. Once again, Douglas, Sierra Vista, Wilcox, Nogales, Tucson, though, remaining on the dry side. This is around your midday, so join us at 3 o'clock and 4, because we'll definitely be tracking those storms. Nogales, Sierra Vista, Douglas, again, Tucson, though, remaining on the dry side. Tomorrow, a very similar situation once again. Lucky for you in Santa Cruz and Cochise County, seeing that rain. However, Tucson remaining on the dry side once again for your Friday. A little bit, maybe moisture sweeping through the area around 4 o'clock, but again, Nogales seems to be really the target of these storms. So rain, yes. Flooding, no. We don't like to see that, but the best chance for rain will come for us in the Tucson area by this weekend. We have a 20% chance for rain today in Tucson, 106. So it is going to be hot, just muggy once again. Nogales, Sierra Vista, a 40% chance for those storms, with temps staying in the 90s. A 50% chance for you in Douglas, with a high of 99 degrees. Your 13 first alert 7-day forecast includes the storm chances on a 20 Thursday and Friday, 40 by Saturday, 50 or 60 by Sunday, 50 by Monday, and that's going to continue Tuesday and Wednesday. So it seems like Cochise County, Douglas getting their rain this week. We will see it, come the weekend and then early next week. So a little bit of a trade-off.
Okay, but then we're looking, we're 1 week exactly away from the 4th of July, and those storm chances are picking up. So is that something that we think could impact people's plans?
So we're a week out.
Yeah.
It's really hard to see when we're a week out. Obviously, plan accordingly. Usually we see those storms in the afternoon, but then again, you're dealing with those wet conditions.
Right.
So really just keep your eye on it. I think it's still too far Still too far out to really see, because a week out is just a long
Yeah.
ways away, and we're also in monsoon,
Right.
so it's just very.
We'll wait and see.
Well, it's like, why can't we have these storm chances, next week,
Yeah.
the 20 for
Yeah.
folks to enjoy July 4th. But yeah, all eyes are going to definitely be on the weather, the conditions there. You don't want to celebrate the 4th when it's raining.
No, out in the rain? Absolutely
No,
not.
and then lightning's a big concern, and
Right.
thunder, and then we get into all of that, and we just don't want to see it on the 4th.
We don't. So hopefully that'll be like
Yes.
10 come next
Yes,
Thursday.
so don't wash your car.
Do not wash your, no, let it be dirty. Perfect. Well, thank you, Allie.
Yeah.
And of course, as we talk about the 4th of July, a big concern is your pets. A lot of people have to kind of take precautions ahead of time, making sure that their pets are microchipped, have, one of those little shirts on to help with anxiety. Some people even medicate their pets because we know that they can get because of those fireworks. So with 4th of July being a week away, our very own Jack Cooper talked with people from the Humane Society of Southern Arizona about what ways you can kind of help get your pet ready for the 4th of July and what you can do if you lose them or if you come across lost pet.
The day after the 4th of July is actually the busiest day for shelters really all across the country, including right here in Southern Arizona. And that includes the Humane Society of Southern Arizona, who are going to need your help over the next couple of weeks, trying to get some pets into their forever homes. And we're going to talk more about some pet safety, what you can do to make sure that they are being safe really over the next week. To talk about some of those things is Amy from the Humane Society. Thanks so much for joining me this morning. Now, first things first, we're going to go with some fireworks safety in just a second. But first, I want you to tell me about who you have here.
This is Fozzie Bear. He is a 6-year-old St. Bernard, and he's been with us for about 2 months.
I would say we've done these interviews before, and he's still here. I want to see him get into his home. What should people know about him?
He is so friendly. He's so sweet. He does like a little bit of activity, but he's also a couch potato. He'd love to sleep on your couch and keep you company.
Awesome. Well, let's get him home. Let's talk about some fireworks safety as well, especially, it's going to be one of your guys' busiest weeks. So what are some things that you want to let people know about to keep their own pets safe?
Sure. So first and foremost, we recommend keeping your pets indoors during the fireworks. That's the best way to keep them at your house and keep them from getting away. If they have to be outside, we always recommend checking your fences and making sure that there are no weak spots that they might be able to escape from. And then lastly, microchips are the biggest factor to help reunite your pet if they are lost. Make sure that the information on your pet's microchip is up to date. And if your pet doesn't have one, visit our vaccine clinic on Saturday morning or Wednesday morning to get that microchip in place and get them ready.
Awesome. And then let's say your pet does end up running away. What are some of the next steps that you should take to try and find them, get them back?
Yeah. First, we recommend doing a lost report with the Humane Society and Pima Animal Care Center. Next, there are websites like Paw Boost and Petco Love Lost that will take those reports and help connect lost and found animals. And then we also recommend networking with your neighbors because sometimes animals are found by neighbors and you won't know until you connect with them.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to get Fozzie home soon, right?
Yes.
Absolutely. If you're interested in Fozzie, we want to get him into his forever home, you can reach out to us at KOLD.com. You can also reach out to the Humane Society. But yeah, let's get him home. Reporting at the Humane Society of Southern Arizona, I'm Jack Cooper, 13 News.
And following up on a story that we first brought you yesterday morning, a PCSD canine who was missing yesterday is now back home safe and sound. Officials said that they think that Damon, who's a drug-sniffing canine for PCSD, may have been spooked by the thunder and lightning that we saw overnight, and then he probably took off because of that. Search crews and volunteers were out all day yesterday looking for him, and Sheriff Nano says that a member of the public actually found him on Tuesday night and then reported that they had him last night. So PCSD officials say that Damon is safe and that he's just happy to be back home. So some very good news. I know a lot of people were commenting on my post, on our KOLD Facebook page post, kind of sharing to make sure that we could find Damon. And good news is that he is back home safe and sound today. And taking a look to our website, a story that is on there right now, very, very sweet story. Look at all those little guys. So this was in Texas. Deputies there say that they rescued 8 puppies that were left out in the heat in Fort Worth. A Good Samaritan saw all those puppies and they called 911. So if we scroll down, you can see the original post and it's kind of a closer look at some of those dogs. They're the cutest little things. Look at that one, just the sweetest little face. So the little pups were taken into the care of animal control. They'll be up for adoption in a couple of days, and they're just so adorable. Obviously, that deputy looking very happy. I would be too if I came across 8 puppies, but thankfully all of them are okay. Again, they'll be put up for adoption there in Fort Worth. So hopefully for some families there in Fort Worth having a very good weekend ahead of them and being able to adopt those very sweet puppies. And taking a live look outside one last time on your Thursday. Starting to clear up a little bit, not seeing as overcast of conditions as we have been seeing, but of course some storms moving in later today here in Tucson, and then really primarily in Cochise and Santa Cruz counties. So if you live out there, just be extra safe, take all those precautions that you would if we do see any extreme flooding. Thanks so much for joining us for Unscripted on 13 Plus. Have a great rest of your Thursday, and we'll see you back here tomorrow morning.